My name is Hana Hašková, and it's my turn to present on parenting leave policies in the Czech Republic and inequalities. At the beginning, I will introduce what are the main types of leave in the Czech Republic. The three main types of parenting leaves in the Czech Republic are maternity leave, paternity leave, and parental leave. Maternity leave usually lasts 28 weeks, and it usually starts before the expected date of birth, and it must not end earlier than 6 weeks after the birth. It is connected to a benefit that pays about 70% of previous income of the person, or in other words, 70% of reduced daily individual assessment based. And this maternity leave benefit is kept. Only mothers who paid sickness insurance for at least 270 days in the last 2 years prior to the leave are eligible for the maternity leave benefit. Also, a father may receive maternity leave benefit instead of the mother, but only from the 7th week after the birth, and it is usually not the case. Since 2018, we have also paternity leave, which was then extended to 2 weeks in 2022. It must be used within the first 6 weeks after the birth or adoption. And this leave is also connected to a benefit that is constructed similarly to the maternity leave benefit. Only employed fathers and entrepreneurs who paid sickness insurance for at least 3 months prior to the leave are eligible to paternity leave benefit. And last but not least, we have parental leave. Parental leave is an individual right of a parent, and it may last until the child's 3rd birthday. The parent has the right to return to the job that was specified in their work contract. And since 2025, there has been a change. There has been an amendment of the law that says that if a parent returns before the child's 2nd birthday, then the parent has the right to return to their original job, which is similar to the conditions of maternity and paternity leave. We have also parental benefit. Historically, recipients of parental benefit had to provide childcare all day. But parental benefit has been changed quite a lot by a number of incremental changes during the last decades. So nowadays, recipients of parental benefit can work in employment, they can have income from employment, they can use daycare, and the construction of parental benefit is as follows. It is fixed total amount per child, which can be drawn in varying monthly payments within maximum limits. And these maximum limits, they depend on the parent's previous income. In other words, higher income parents may claim a higher monthly benefit. So at the end of the day, they withdraw the total amount per child more quickly. Parental benefit is not an individual right of a parent, it's rather a family right. Parents may take turns in who is receiving the benefit, but they cannot receive the benefit at the same time. They may also adjust the monthly amount, but they have to withdraw the benefit until the child's 3rd birthday. Parental benefit is not conditioned by employment history of the parent. So even unemployed parents, they have the right for parental benefit. So this was about the design of the leaves and the benefits connected to them. And now let's see what are the eligibility criteria and what do we know about take-up rates of these leaves and benefits. I have already mentioned that access to maternity and paternity leave benefits is restricted only to those who paid sickness insurance. So it means it is restricted especially to parents who had employment history or who were self-employed and paid sickness insurance. It also means that, for example, full-time students or unemployed people or parents with unstable employment histories are excluded. With paternity leave benefit, we know that about half of fathers use it, but the share is much more higher among employed fathers because of the eligibility criteria. However, we also know that not all eligible fathers use paternity leave benefit, and it is mainly due to the financial disadvantage of the capped benefit. Parental leave and the use of parental benefit is highly gendered in the Czech Republic. We know that fathers make up less than 2% of parental benefit recipients in the country. We also know that mothers usually use parental benefit in rather low monthly payments for quite long period of time until child's third birthday. Most mothers receive parental benefit after they end paid maternity leave. But there are also mothers who are not eligible to paid maternity leave. And in their case, they start to receive parental benefit already at the date of the childbirth. The interesting question is, what are the factors that contribute to this highly gendered use of parental leave? Part of the story is the policy design, because in the Czech Republic, fathers are eligible to parental leave, but there is no non-transferable payment connected to it, because the non-transferable paid parental leave quota has not been implemented in the Czech Republic in reality. Also, there is quite high gender pay gap in the Czech Republic, and together with capped benefits, it also contributes to this gendered use of parental leave. In fact, the gender pay gap is quite high in the Czech Republic, even in the European comparison. Also, there is still prevailing but weakening norm of freeness, which refers to the preference for maternal care of children under the age of 3. And this, together with very low access to daycare for children below the age of 3 in the Czech Republic, hinders mothers' return to the labor market. So we can say that the parenting leave policy, together with this very low access to daycare for children below the age of 3 in the country, together contributes to the gender division of labor in Czech families. To put this into numbers, I can say that, for example, the access to daycare for children under the age of 3 in the Czech Republic is one of the lowest in European comparison. Less than 10% of children below the age of 3 attend some kind of daycare in the country. The result is that the parental leave is used almost exclusively by mothers, and also that among people aged 30 to 35, the gender gap in employment in the Czech Republic is among the largest in Europe, which has, of course, long-term detrimental effects on mothers' wages and labor market trajectories, as many studies showed. However, there had been incremental improvements to parental leave policy, especially since 2008, but they were not inclusive. They improved especially the situation for middle-class families and parents with higher education. For example, the choice of shorter parental leave with higher monthly benefits was introduced only later and remained limited for low-income families. There has been also a slight increase in the access to childcare services in the country, but they are less affordable for low-income families because of the connected payments. Historically, same-sex couples did not have the same access to parenting, to paid parenting leaves. Especially because non-biological and non-adoptive caregivers in same-sex couples had no access to paid parenting leaves. There has been an important change in 2025, though, because since that time, same-sex couples who are in legal partnerships are allowed to adopt a partner's child. So it means that the caregivers in same-sex couples have much better chance to become recognized as legal parents, like both of them. In order to conclude, I would say that the trends that we are experiencing right now, increasing diversity of families, but also increasing diversity of work trajectories, because of the globalization of labor markets, because of platformization of labor force, all these trends, they in fact calls for the importance of creating policies that are inclusive. In order to conclude this presentation, I would say that we have quite a number of very interesting research on parenting leave policies and inequalities in the Czech Republic, especially that focus on the impact of parenting leave policies on mothers' labor market participation, on gender inequalities, and also very interesting research about the impact on fertility and the childbirth intervals. However, there are still research gaps, especially we like intersectional analysis, also the processes that contribute to the selectivity or inclusiveness of parenting leave policies remain under studies. The interesting question is, for example, what are the factors, the discourses and the actors that contribute to the fact the Czech Republic remains such a laggard in implementing the quota for fathers. Also, the relationships between parenting leave policies and intergenerational reproduction of inequalities remain under studies. And also the relationships between parenting leave policies and such trends as involved fathering, or, for example, the spread of the norms of intensive parenting in Europe are understudied. I also think that we miss studies that focus on the strategies that are employed by marginalized caregivers with, for example, migrant status or disabilities or unstable employment histories. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to our discussion.